Hi there, I'm Angie Zimmerman, the Flower Devo. Today I'm showing you how to make this stunning centerpiece. It's got hydrangeas, kale, roses, lisianthus, kangaroo paw, James Story orchids, lilies, magnolia greenery, some cedar greenery, some agonis greenery, and it's sitting on top of this beautiful vase with a crystal hung in the center. Normally you start with your greenery. In this case, because I have such really big stems of the kale, I mean, see how thick that is? I'm going to start with my kale, and I'm going to use my kale to start shaping my design. I'm going to cut my stem short, and then I'm going to use my floral knife, and I'm going to actually shave off part of the stem. I'm going to try to create kind of a point on the stem. So again, it will go into this floral foam a little bit easier. And I'm going to be using 5 stems of kale, and so I'm going to put 3 of them on the outside edge. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to really push hard. I'm going to do one more piece, and I'm actually trying to get these at 2 slightly different elevations. So if you look at it from this angle, you can see this one's a little bit shorter than this one. All right, now what I'm going to do is go back and start adding in some of my greenery. And I'm using some interesting greenery on these. I'm using some magnolia, which is really pretty. That's why I use the magnolia, because the bottom sides of the magnolia have a little bit of the brown in them. But I also used some cedar. So you can see I can actually break up a branch into several pieces. And I'm cleaning off the section of the branch that's going to get inserted into my floral foam. And I'm just turning, and essentially what I'm doing is in between each of the kale, I'm adding now my greenery. Okay, so agonis is kind of the same thing. There's several offshoots on each branch. So I'm going to break it up and use it in different places. Again, I'm going around and using the agonis, inserting it in between each of the kale. There aren't a lot of greeneries in this color, and depending on what you mixed it with, it'll kind of pick up different colors. So because I'm using it with the browns, it's picking up the brown, but you could use this with a red or a burgundy, and it'll pick up the red and the burgundy. I'm going to add a few more pieces on top, again, because we never want to see our mechanics. I typically do things in 3s. You know, with flower arranging, you often do things in odd numbers, and so 3s and 5s are kind of the quantities that I typically will use. There's no magic rule on that. It just happens to be what I like to use. The next flower I'm going to add is my hydrangea, because it's one of the bigger flowers, and it's going to take up the majority of the space. And I'm going to start putting these now in between where the kale is. So you can see there's definitely a pattern to this. Next I'm going to add in lilies, and I'm using 3 lilies. And again, I'm kind of following that same pattern, just moving the dish around and inserting these in 3 places now in between the kale and the hydrangea. If you were making these and you know you had people that didn't like the scent of flowers, then you could use an Asiatic lily, which is a little smaller but has no scent. I'm going to start adding in my roses now, and I'm going to use 5 of the rust and then 5 peach. And now again, I'm kind of following my same pattern. And this is really just adding some pops of color, wanting to make sure that the color is equally distributed so that no matter what side you're looking at this from, you can see color. Next flower I'm going to use is lisianthus. So lisianthus has a very soft stem, so you want to be careful when you insert these, and often have multiple flowers on a stem, so you can break them up into smaller pieces. And I want to put them in different places. I'm trying now to just really add some variety and texture to this centerpiece. So I'm going to put all of these in just different places. Next thing I'm going to add are some berries. These are hypericum berries. Next I'm going to add, this is called kangaroo paw. I love it. It's a really cool texture. And now I'm really just trying to make sure that I've got this texture kind of equally dispersed. This is really a beautiful, beautiful centerpiece. I don't know anybody who wouldn't be thrilled to death to have this on their table.
I'd like to be the Mayesh Design Star because I love teaching floral design, and Mayesh has a fantastic selection of flowers to use for teaching floral design. I should be the Mayesh Design Star because I have a lot of experience teaching floral design and will be honored to work with you to educate our floral community.